Hi, everybody. So let's look at the numbers for the month of March. It's just finished, and it's really interesting to see what has occurred in the data here. Now, you see a lot of red on the screen. I'm not worried about that red, and I'll show you why when we look at the Simcoe County and provincial numbers at the end. First things first, though, personal lives. Natanya has taken a job at the Villas as a part-time assistant to the GM over there. She loves helping senior citizens. She loves helping people in general, but she loves helping senior citizens. So she's had her eye on that building for a long time, and she applied for a job over there. She loves it. She's going to work with me part-time in real estate and work with the Villas part-time over there. If you're not familiar with the Villas, ask us. We'll tell you all about it. It's a wonderful place. Now let's talk about the numbers. So March, because it was still winter for the most part, we saw a lot of transactions start taking place towards the back half of the month. And once we started getting the melt off of the snow, and as a result, numbers are actually quite a bit lower than we would have expected. But there are positive signs here. So what we're naturally going to see in March and April, March through May and June actually, is that we'll see the new listings always climb month over month. But the good sign here is that it climbed year over year. Okay. And that this is for Midland, and we'll see this month over month climb across the board. Okay. It'll happen. But we're going to see listings actually drop pretty much across the board, which is going to create an interesting dynamic as we move into the summer months. All right. So in Midland, we saw a small decrease year over year in the prices. We're seeing a lot of first time home buyers come back and scoop up those $400,000 to $550,000 homes. And there's a lot of them coming to the market. What we actually saw in March as well, in Midland specifically, that's where I analyzed the data, is that in February, 83% of all sales were under the $550,000 mark. In March, it was a 74-26 split. So 74% of them were under 550,000, but there was also 26% between that 550 and $800,000 mark, which is the first time home buyers selling their first time home and moving up into that next category. So we're starting to see that ripple effect happen through the real estate market. So it's a really positive thing happening out there. We look at Penetanguishene again, month over month, inventory is up. Sales were also up slightly. Small inventory to talk about in Penetang. So we don't really worry about these numbers too much. When we get to the bigger centers like Barrie and Aurelia, those have a little bit more impact on the total numbers. Tiny Township, it's continuing to see a lot of price corrections in Tiny Township. Some of the smaller cottages are actually moving there. We did not see very many big cottages move there. The shining light in all of this seems to be Tay Township, though. Month over month, big gains for all of Tay. Year over year, we saw the price increase for Tay as well. So that's a really positive sign. Barrie also saw month over month almost across the board. We had the months of inventory climb slightly, and the prices year over year dipped in Barrie, causing it to go down by 7%, and that will impact all of Simcoe County. So what we saw in Collingwood as well, it was interesting because Collingwood, while it had a lot of new listings, saw a decrease across the board on everything else, but its year over year actually saw a lot of positive happen, which is really interesting. It's kind of a flip of the script of what we're seeing in Collingwood because it was in red a lot prior to moving into March. Wasaga Beach, same story. Green all the way across the board, month over month, and a lot of green year over year, including that in critical sale price, the median sale price creeping up by 15% there. And Aurelia, just like Barrie, saw a decrease in the sales price, but a month over month increase in sales price. So the inventory in Aurelia also climbed, and it is a little bit over the balanced market area now. Not too bad, but it has always been a shining star for us through the dip that we're seeing in the market. Now, when we look at all of Simcoe County, as expected, sales prices year over year have dropped. They've dropped a total of 8% year over year. Inventory levels have gone down too, though. So what we've seen is there's less buyers out there. So we saw a 6% year over year dip. Inventory would climb as a result of that, but it didn't climb as fast as it should have because we had 10% less listings across Simcoe County. But here's the positive story is that for the first time in a long time, we've seen an increase, so not just a small increase, but a substantial increase in the month-over-month purchase price going up to $690,000. So that is a positive sign in the month-over-month sales as we move into the spring market. It should bring that average sales price up as more and more buyers come back to the market in the spring market. And looking across Ontario, Simcoe County is reflecting very similar to the Ontario numbers, an increase in the total selling price, a decrease in the year-over-year selling price, but not as substantial as Simcoe County. So there are some of those markets that are protected and lifting Ontario up a little bit. And what you see down here is the Simcoe County month-over-month sales price. This is the first in 13 months significant increase in sales price. But as you can see, the year-over-year continues to be a decrease in the total sales price. The other big story that I want to talk about is actually what we see in the rolling average details. So the 10-year rolling average, what's happened with that is we are still off by 48% on the 10-year rolling average for the first quarter of 2026. When we look back at January being off 37%, February being off 52%, and then you have March being off 52% as well. This trend is actually continuing. We should be around 2,100 sales for the month of, for the first quarter. The 10-year rolling average being closer to 2,400. We are literally half of that right now. So that is the big one. Volume needs to pick up for any resilience in the price to start lifting. And we are hopefully seeing a lot of first-time home buyers coming back to the market as a result. That should start pushing those prices and the volume back up into the market. If you want any more information on your local market, what's happening in your micro community, reach out to me. I'm happy to give you a brief tutorial or a brief consultation on what's happening in your local market, comparable properties, and what we forecast moving through 2026. Don't hesitate to reach out for any additional information.